Hello, dear friend. Welcome back to yet another phenomenal encounter with Dr. Joe Dispenza's remarkable work, Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. If you did not watch our previous episodes where I summarized the first chapter, the four episodes, please go and watch them. They contain very useful and insightful instruction and information that will change your life and set you up for a supernatural living. For today, let's start with this question. Do you know that some of the claims that you inherited certain sicknesses from your parents because you were predisposed to their genes were not entirely correct? Diseases like cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart condition, and so on and so forth. Do you also know that most of them were not caused by Satan? You get to find out here. So, what's the title of this chapter 2 that we are looking at? It's entitled The Present Moment. What does the author mean? He simply means that for you to create a new future, a new life, something different, something supernatural, something magnificent, you have to disregard the past, the events of the past. You also have to disregard the anxiety, the uncertainty of the future, and concentrate in the present moment. Bible says now is the hour of salvation. Now is the appointed time. Christ even said, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you have to become like a child. Where is the kingdom of God? It's within you. How can you become like a child? How it relates to this book and this chapter is for you to leave out offenses, distractions, malice, for you to be free. You know how children could play around freely, not thinking of what they will eat, not thinking of the next meal, not think of anything, allowing anything to disturb them. You have to get to that level to seize the present moment. Muhammad said, for you to be led and blessed by Allah, you have to surrender to Allah. Buddha said, you have to disregard and discard animalistic tendencies, things that make you behave like animals. You know how animals survive by instincts. You have to disregard that. Guru Nanak of Sikhism said, you have to shed primordial sentiments. Ego has to go. It's only by so doing that you take hold of the present moment and create a new future for yourself. The next thing here is how your brain works to create your life. Every time you remember an event of the past, that event had created a neural connection in your brain, a neural circuit in your brain. And every time you remember it, be it a good event or a bad event, the same chemicals that were released at the event's occurrence as at the time the event happened or occurred will be re-released in your body. If it was a good event, good chemicals, let me not use technical terms, let me just say good chemicals will be released in your body. If it was a bad event, bad chemicals will be released in your body. You know what that means? Good chemicals will make you look good, feel good, be happy, be joyful. Bad chemicals will make you feel bad, sad, and sick. So that is how your brain creates your future. And every time you pay attention to that event, the chemicals will be released. And once you put attention there, before you know it, you repeat that life. Because your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings will create your action. That means invariably, inadvertently, unavoidably, unknowingly, you are creating the same future with the same past you had. That is how your brain creates your life. Let's go ahead. Harvard researchers did this study. They brought a group of people together, put them separately, two groups. One were taught how to practice simple five fingers piano exercise. They practiced it for 5 days, an hour or so a day. The other group were not taught to practice it. They were just taught to sit down, close their eyes, and imagine themselves playing the same exercise, doing the same exercise, without them having to tickle a single ivory. At the end of the day, before and after brain scans revealed that both groups had the same neural connections in the brain that relates to finger movements and piano playing. The same. One actually practiced it, the other one did not do anything, just sat down to imagine, and that happened. The next study I pointed out here is Cleveland Clinic. Put two groups of people together, and separated them. One group was asked to practice how they can flex their biceps. After some time, the groups were tested. The people that sat down to imagine themselves practicing the biceps and the people that were not practicing the biceps enlargements or exercise at all. The people that practiced, it was proven that they developed 13% increase in their muscle weights than the people that did not practice by just sitting down to imagine, to visualize themselves practicing, exercising, and flexing their biceps. The third study here is from Ohio University. The surgical cast was put in the wrist of some people. One group was asked to flex their muscle, their wrist, despite the surgical cast that was in it. The other group were not asked to do it. At the end of the day, it was showed that the people that flexed their muscles, despite the fact that they could not move it, they just saw themselves moving their muscles in their imagination. They were able to move their muscles better, faster, and stronger than those ones that did not move their muscle. It reminds me about athletes. Do you know that every match that wants to happen in professional teams, there is a coach that is in charge of motivation and inspiration. And one of the things that coach does is to let the people to sit down and imagine themselves playing the game actually and winning the game. It calls for the question, why, when two teams pray before a match and one wins, one loses, or both draws, which one does God answer? Just food for thoughts. But do you know that the group that will imagine themselves, believe, and have the emotions of winning will always win? It has been scientifically proven. Now, the mother of them all, why I asked the first question I asked, science of epigenetics. Science of epigenetics has revealed that it is not actually your DNA, your gene, that causes your disease. It is the environments of the gene and not the external environments, the internal environments. What do I mean? What is your feeling like? What is your thought like? That you're disposed to a particular ailment or sickness does not automatically mean you will develop that sickness, except you fertilize your internal environment with your thoughts, with your emotions. That is when you ignite that sickness. So we are being taught by this author, Dr. Joe Dispenza, that elevated emotions is the way out to cure yourself, cure your body, perpetrating or perpetuating a particular sickness or ailment. So what are the elevated emotions? Emotion of peace, of joy, of happiness, of compassion, of empathy, all the positive emotions you can think of, emotion of love. So instead of dwelling on their opposites that will cause you to suffer, to ignite, to activate those elements that you're already predisposed to, according to science, you can actually stop it. And despite the fact that you are disposed to those sicknesses, you will not have them. How much more when you are not even disposed to sicknesses? When you keep thinking evil, thinking Satan, thinking wickedness, thinking sick, thinking bad thoughts, you are creating genes in your body, up-regulating your genes to create those circumstances, those conditions in your body. Let's forge ahead. Okay, the last experiment I want to point out here is the saliva experiment that Dr. Joe and his team conducted in Washington in one of the advanced workshops. What happened was, before they started the workshop, when the participants arrived, they collected their saliva and tested for immunoglobulin A. And at the end, and after they have been put through elevated emotions for a period of 4 days, their saliva was recollected and tested. It was showed that the average person increased immunoglobulin A in their saliva by at least 48%. Some even increase it by 100% in a period of just 4 days of practicing elevated emotion. Just 4 days. Immunoglobulin A is a protein marker in the body. What it does is to help you generate protein that can upgrade your immune system, give you stamina, and give you good health. So by just staying on elevated emotion for a period of time, 5 to 10 minutes daily for a couple of days, you could actually produce more immunoglobulin A for your health and general well-being. The author even says here that is to tell you that it's not all ailments, not all sicknesses, not all diseases that you must take chemical drugs for. Just go inwards and see how you can practice elevated emotions. And before you know it, those things would have been gone. Friends, I don't want this video to get too long like the last one. That's why I'm ending it here. But I'll try and complete this chapter in the next episode. Appreciate your like, your follow, and your comments. Any reaction you want to give, I will appreciate it so much. Keep a date with us and keep popping.